Okay, so this video right here, I just got to be honest with you. All right, there's like I live in Johnson County, Kansas, but I grew up in Missouri. I lived in Missouri from 3 to 16 years old, and I was in private school 1st through 5th grade, and public school in Belton from 6th to 9th grade. And the summer after my 9th grade year was over, I was expelled for a year and a half. And God told me it was really a bullshit. Ryan, it was bullshit that they expelled you. I had honors English. My grades were okay, and I played a whole season of football. And God did it. I mean, I was talking to God about it. He said it's bullshit. Pretty much is what he said. They shouldn't have expelled you. And you know what happened was they brought me before a school board there in Belton with my mom. Just this one man. And he said, Ryan, you've had 2 1-week out of school suspensions and 1 ISS. We think you're a problem. So we're going to expel you for a year and a half. And when I got the ISS, this new girl came from the Truman School District. And I wrote her a note in my science class. Okay, and I told her, I was still growing up. But I told her I thought she had a nice, a butt in the note. I was just telling her pretty much I was attracted to her, and I included that in that note. She took it. She's just like, she's probably doing horrible today. Again, all the people that stabbed me in the back, I looked at a lot of their lives, and people started aging kind of, they just don't look as good as they did when they were kids. So I'm pretty sure this particular girl, she's kind of wrong, really honestly. But she carried the note that I wrote her all the way up to the science teacher. Mr. Keaton said, "Come here, Ryan." And he took me to the vice principal's office, and I sat in the office with Mr. Keaton, so Coach Keaton, and this vice principal there. And the guys, I was sitting down in a chair, and they were yelling at me in the office. It was for a simple note. It wasn't perverted. The most immature thing I could have said in there was, I liked her butt. Her bottom. But they were yelling at me while I was sitting in this. I felt like I was with 2 deranged, angry, assaultive adults in the office. And then I got a 1-week out of school suspension. I had a friend named Brittany Collins in my Spanish class in 9th grade, and she had a horse pencil pouch. She had a horse pencil pouch. It was a stuffed animal as a pencil pouch. It was a stuffed animal pencil pouch, and I said, Brittany, can I see this? I was a little bit of a class clown, a little bit. Class clown. I just like making people laugh. I didn't care about being, over-expressive about things. I was trying to get a laugh. So she gave me her pencil pouch. I unzipped my jeans. I didn't unbutton them. I unzipped my jeans. I put the horse pencil pouch where my zipper was, zipped it back up, and I stood up and I looked at my Spanish teacher and said, "Hey!" with it in my crotch, in the zipper of my pants. So they gave me a 1-week out of school suspension for that. And then, it's like, it wasn't assault, it wasn't drugs. And one of them was considered a minor. It wasn't physical assault like violence. And it wasn't drugs. I did use drugs at the school there. I had a friend named Marcus Mitchell. We smoked marijuana in the bathroom after detention. And I brought my own 1-piece pipe to school, and I'd go out by the nurse's door there when it was the freshman center, but now it's the high school, and I would just take a couple, puffs from my 1-hitter outside of the door, but I never was arrested for drugs there. But anyway, so these kids on the bus were like class of 2009, I was class of 2007, I was in 9th grade, and these kids were like loudmouths, real disrespectful. They were skinny. They were real perverted. They were like really like they just had, for their size and skinniness and they just talked and they're perverted. They always talked about South Park, made South Park jokes, and didn't really have a lot of respect for other people on the bus. And I was sitting there with my friend at the time. We're not friends now. He doesn't like me anymore. But his name was Aaron Doherty. And they just started throwing, those two kids started throwing rocks at us on the bus. And I got up. I thought, what the fuck are you doing? And I thought about hitting him. Okay, but physically. But I thought, you're too small. I don't want to swing on you. You're too small. So we just gathered. I gathered myself, and I ended up taking a 409 bottle from the house, my mom's, and I urinated in it. And I saved urine in it for 3 or 4 days. And a kid named Zach Taylor had a carton of rotten milk in his locker. His locker was by the cafeteria at Yoka Middle School. And he gave it to me, and I took it and mixed it with the urine that I had saved for 3 or 4 days in the 409 bottle. And then I shook it up, cleaned off the bottle and everything, and brought it on the bus. And then I just stood up, and I just started spraying both those kids, those mouthy South Park watching perverted kids, who were throwing rocks at me and Aaron, and I just stood up and just started spraying them with it. And I said, Aaron, do you want to spray them? And he said, yeah, and he smiled. And Aaron stood up and just started spraying them with it. Well, they turned me into the bus driver. The bus driver admitted that's what happened. And they gave me a 1-week out of school suspension for that. And I also went on to diversion. I wasn't on diversion for drug abuse. I was on diversion for what happened on the bus. I had a diversion officer in Belton. Her name was Shannon Torres. And I was using marijuana at the time, but I wasn't being tested with UAs because I didn't end up on diversion for drugs. And one day I was smoking marijuana at my mom and Paul's during the day, and Paul smelled it from my room, and he just started banging on the door, and he said, Paula, Ryan's got pot, he's got marijuana, he's smoking marijuana. And she turned it into my diversion officer, and she put me in Harrisonville Juvenile Detention Center next to the adult jail in Harrisonville for 1 week because of that. But she let me get off of diversion because I was expelled for 1.5 years, and I told her I wanted to move to Olathe to finish my education. So she ended my diversion. But when I was brought before the school board, the guy said, we think you're a problem, we're going to expel you for 1.5 years. And that's how I ended up moving to Olathe. It was to finish my high school education, so I wasn't out of school for 1.5 years. But, yeah, I'm trying to think, where did I start this video? Where did I start it on? Well, I'll get back. I'm going to watch this one. I'll record something else if it's relative. Maybe I concluded a few points in this one. If you watched it, thanks for listening.